Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, April 29th, 2023, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. All of us are everything is a frequency. It's a reconfigured strand of energy. And this whole universe is a strand of energy. We exist in a illusion convincing us constantly that we are these bodies. I mean, everywhere you look, we're being convinced that we are these bodies. We've all been programmed from years and years and lifetimes, and every body we've entered through incarnation. And we don't know it, but as we're programmed and the subconscious fills up, the body develops a character, personality, and a name, and so on and so forth. But it's an illusion, which causes us to be distracted majority of the time and to live outside of ourselves, to exist outside of ourselves. It's easy to do because you on all sides, above and below, all around, you're being saturated in this. And so it becomes a habit. And then you say, you kind of, there's a little bit that you say, well, I know there's something missing. You know, it's like a piece of a puzzle. Sometimes, if you ever done a puzzle, picture puzzle, whatever, and you can't find that one piece, drives you up a wall. You can't find it. You know there's a piece, obviously. You look at the full simple puzzle and you look and you go, there's a piece, there it is, but I can't seem to find it. And it hasn't been lost. So you say, well, I'll find it sooner or later. And you keep looking for other pieces. And then you forget about it. And you continue to move forward through this illusion. And then when you start to realize that, and for some, this is way out there. And for others, they can comprehend it. But a universe is a living being. And we are living beings, the gods that we are. The universe has a pure consciousness, just like we are pure consciousness. Universe is us, we are the universe. So we carry the essence of the universe, which is a living being. And we have, if you were to look at our physical bodies, right, and you looked at the construction, how it was structured and constructed and assembled, and you look at all the cells and you look at everything about the body, and every cell has a consciousness in these bodies. And we have thousands of miles of arteries. We have literally trillions of cells. To figure that out, the comparison here with just the physical form is that you could really look at the body as a universe, similar to the universe that we're currently in, this holographic generated universe. But see, the mind cannot comprehend that. It just is too small. It is not capable of understanding that. Now, the gods that we are can easily. This is why we can travel anywhere in existence. Blink of the eye. But what stops us is the ego mind and how we have been controlled and supervised and mastered by the ego mind. Thoughts, actions, endeavors, just about everything is controlled by the ego mind with these bodies. We don't know we inherit the ego mind. We have no idea. As babies, we don't have a clue about ego and mind and greed and hatred and love. We don't have any clue of that. So we're programmed. It's imperative that eventually the civilization, one by one even, begins to discover that it's time for me to reprogram myself. Reprogram it. All the things that I've learned. Look at them, review them, and you start to find the chinks in the armor. That this is not true at all, and this is what I've been following. This is how so many people are conditioned in religion. And I'm not talking about the religion, I'm talking about man-made religion. All the religions on this planet are man-made. And churches were originally set up as a business to make money. That's why they were set up, as a business to make money. And see now, what's the difference between man-made religion and religion? Religion is that of the discovery of the God within us and to honor that God. And when we pray to that God, the God that we are. Do you see the confusion on this planet? We've got thousands, tens of thousands of religions, many of which you've never heard of. Everybody believing in different ways, different things, different avenues. L. Ron Hubbard, for instance, was a researcher of the brain. That's what he did. He researched the brain. He discovered certain things like engrams that were literally etched or burned into the brain, which he literally broke down the brain and its function. Now, he never intended, he never knew in a million years. He had some followers that said, well, why don't we start a religion out of this? And he thought it was absolutely absurd. So when he passed, they just did it anyway. Scientology, another religion. Baha'i, another religion. You know the surface religion. But can you imagine children, right, born into those beliefs and then supervised and conditioned to be in those beliefs without really having a choice? So what happens when you have all these man-made religions flying all over the planet? And you have all these people that are literally separated in an illusion from the gods they are, because they're taught that out there is where the God is. The God is separate from you. You are not the God. The God is separate from you. That's an illusion. So when you have children who come in, right, and they're open vessels, and then you start to realize is that they've got to be taught in a whole different way in order to have a chance to discover in this life, their life, to discover that they are a God within the body. Now, a child, open book, right? Empty vessel. Only makes sense that when you start the programming, you give the child straight programming, which is truth. Is that done on this planet? No, it's not. Has it ever been? No. So then you have generation after generation after generation repeats the process of the generation before it, ignorant to who and what they are. And it really doesn't take how do you put it? It doesn't take, years and years and years of training, like some people would think. Comprehension is very quick. And those of us who are aware that we are not the body and the God within the body would be the ones to teach them. What do you think would happen if we begin to do this? And after, say, a decade, what do you think would be happening on the planet? Well, you would have the majority of people meditating. You would have the majority of them staying in the now because they knew what that meant. You would have, and so they could master the ego mind. You would have a civilization that eventually would have mastered the ego mind, and the ego mind doesn't exist anymore. And they all reside in the heart mind, and they all know, emphatically so, that they are a God within that body and not the body. And then you'll see some that will instantaneously heal the body. Others that fly. Others that beep in and beep out all over the universes. So, for instance, you have a body, right? And you decide you're going to go to a planetary body in the 60th universe. So you leave the body, the body's there. You, the God, leaves the body. The body is sustaining. It's like in suspended animation. And then you go there. And you interact with different life forms. Species. Right? Now, since you're the God, you can take on any form you choose. And this happens. And then you come back to the body. And see, you can leave the body. The body isn't going to diminish because there's an energy charge in the body, kind of like a battery, right? When you leave the body has a battery in it to sustain itself until you return. And you charge the battery up for the next time you want to leave the body. And that becomes fascinating for us because, we're deeply grateful for the life that we're in at this very moment. But it's like we're anxious to know more, but not in a hurry to know it. We're anxious to know more, but we're not in a hurry to know it because we know we will. We're anxious to experience more things, but we're not in a hurry to experience because we know we will. And that's being in the now. We don't project. We don't project into the future, and we don't project into the past. Yeah, we visit them. We'll visit the past, and things will come in from the past out of the clear blue. You'll kind of visit with them and then move on, because they're all gone. Remember when you were in your early 20s, and then you flash back and say, I wonder how many of those people I knew then are still in body. That's kind of what a child would do, right? I wonder how many of them are still in body. How many have left the body? Because we all know what aging, right, the dis-ease of aging does to the body. It really disfigures a person. You barely recognize them if you come across them when you knew them when you were in your 20s or teens. Now, it'd be different, right, if you ran into them and everybody was in their 30s, 50, 60, 100, 200, 300 years later. Makes for interesting conversation to understand that that's what's ahead of us. Will we spend much time on this planet? I think some won't. I think some will leave it and go into other sectors of space and planetary systems with life. I think you'll see us colonizing other planets way out, because we have the opportunity with the technologies that are going to be brought in to just make a major leap. How far we've come in 200 years technology-wise? Comprehend this. We will, in a few years, will far surpass what it took us 200 years to get to. It'd be like a year, which normally a year of advancement would normally take us 200 years, as far as the accelerated path of these new technologies, new to this planet. And then we have a open book horizon to explore. And life is God and God is life. Pure consciousness is life. And everything. So people say, well, you look at the universe, as massive as it is and how much it holds. You say, so the universe is a living being. Yes, it is. And we're like the cells in that living being. Fascinating, isn't it? But yet, we are universes. Each one of those cells in this universe is a universe. And so on and so forth. So you begin to understand that the time continuum is totally different and varies greatly. Like one planet takes 6,000 years to circle its sun. That's to that planet. To us, it'd be 6,000 years to go around that sun once. Here, for this planet, it's 365 days. So we orbit it every year, once a year. There's other planets, like I said, take 6,000 years, 10,000 years, 20,000 years to make one orbit. So what would that mean? That would mean that those people, those beings, are much younger, but yet very old compared to you. It's a never-ending field of shifting. It's fascinating because now most of us wouldn't look at our bodies as a universe, right? But it's laid out that way internally. So you look at the God is a cell of this universe, yet that cell is a universe in itself. So this is why we say you are the universe and the universe is you, because you're this particle, and that particle holds the essence of this entire universe. And once you understand that, then you know that you are the universe, and the universe is you, because you carry the universe's essence. And if you look at these bodies, and you are just a particle, a quantum particle, right, in one of these bodies, you would think that it was a universe. It would be so vast. So then you realize, you start to say, well, then I, the God that I am, is part of everything. There's nothing that it is not part of. That's right. on this planet, we're given this illusion with these bodies that you look down the street and then people over there and there's a group of people over there and they're not connected to you because that's what it appears to be. We're in this soup, this golden ocean, and we're all one. And we're all experiencing different things at the same time. And some of us are moving towards figuring out once and for all who and what we are. This is the major discovery right now for this planetary population. Is the majority? Have the majority decided to be on that path? No. The majority are not. The minority are. And even the minority are just starting to step into it. And because we have been trained to focus on, most of the time, we focus on low frequencies and not the high ones. As a matter of fact, it gets to the point where it's easier to focus on low frequencies than it is on focus on high frequencies. So what do? Most of the time we focus on low frequencies. And they don't have to be catastrophic or anything, but worrying about where we're going, worrying about being concerned about and focused on. I shouldn't say worry, I should say focused on. Focused on, lack of. Focused on being able to support ourselves. Focused on this and focused on it. Focused on well-being. Focused on this, focused on it. And we put a lot of focus on those areas because we don't know how omnipotently powerful we are in these bodies. So we focus in the material world. When some have discovered that they don't need to chase anything anymore because they know who and what they are to the extent where they can attract anything they want. And this type of thinking and feeling is the evolution of mankind. And when you understand that, and this is where it gets confusing for people, these bodies, the vessels that we incarnate into, right, are not who and what we are. They're the vessel that holds us so that we can experience physical material life. And the irony to that is that the majority of us don't know that we are not the body. We don't know that. And this is why lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, we don't discover it. So that's why we keep going lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And some of us, after 10,000 lifetimes, still haven't gotten it. Which isn't a negative, it's just you haven't gotten it. But people say, well, what happens once you get it? Do you care to be in a body again? Well, sure. It might be a tree instead of a human body. It might be a whale. Or literally, it might be a blade of grass. So you kind of, in fact, they've taken measurements with certain recording devices, and when you mow grass, you can hear it scream. I kid you not, because it's life. Now we don't think about those things because we're too preoccupied with everything else. What do you think it would be like, right, if you had the opportunity to be in an animal, say a bear, or lion or something, and someone shot you? You felt the trauma of that, being in that animal, before you left that body of that animal. And then you came automatically into a human body. And so every time you would see an animal being threatened, you would never again fire on an animal. Because you know what it feels like to be in that animal when that animal is traumatized and it ends. See, our perspective on this planet is quite twisted because of our programming. And so we view other forms of life as inferior. And it isn't. And so you see trees and they're inferior to you because you don't understand trees. You just think they're growth and shade and provide oxygen and food and so on and so forth. And then when we see an animal, a muskrat or a porcupine or an armadillo or whatever, we believe that's inferior. Okay, because we believe that the God within that physical form is inferior compared to the gods we are, and it isn't. This is God just decided to experience that form of life. See, now the body is not the life. The God is the life that's in the body. Obviously, whenever you leave the body ceases. Right? And people say, well, no, it's because it's been damaged or a disease or something. And because we don't know how to fix the body yet, we leave it because, the body can't sustain it. But see, this is how it's really structured. If the body starts to go awry or fail in some areas, you're the God in the body, you can fix that. Anything that would go wrong with this body, you could fix it. You, the God that you are. Nothing else. No technology or anything. And do we have that power? Yes, we do. Every one of us do. That's when we talk about being reprogrammed and deciding that it's time to clean the basement out of the garage out so there's plenty of room to put new thoughts in there. New thoughts. Thoughts about you're the God. And you continue to go within to discover the God and have an intimate relationship with the God you are. These are all step processes that we talk about, and we've talked about for several years. But it's up to you. It's not a pressure thing or anything. It's just it's when you decide that, okay, I'm going within, and I'm going to discover the God that I am, and I'm going to practice being in the now. And no matter how times we're pulled out of the now, which we are, we know that. It's just, that's fine. I'll just focus on my breath, and I'll be back in the now. The now is when you manifest things. See? When you're in the now, that's when you send the thought to the universe. That's when you send it. Not in yesterday or tomorrow with the ego mind. That's why that's a massive hit and miss situation. But in the now is when you project what you want in detail to the universe. One thing. And you'd be blown away on what happens. But that's the challenge. How long can you stay in the now? Minute, 30 seconds, 10 seconds before you wander off. So that's why it's a perpetual practice. You said, okay, I'll go back in the now, focus on my breath. Listen to my breath. You just listen to your breath. You're in the now. You focus on the space between heartbeats. You're in the now. And just like anything else, just like we've habitualized ourselves on being in the material physical world, we can do the same thing by acclimating ourselves to being in the now at all times. Nobody yet can do that, but we all have the ability to. And this is the next major evolution for this civilization. To actually live as the God that you are in the body, not the body. Then we have a God planet paradise. And we go into the quiet time of this meditation. Focus on the now, your breath, and silence. Focus on the now with your breath and silence. You won't be thinking, number one. You'll drop down into the heart mind, number two. And you'll just float. Because you won't be interacting with the ego mind. This is the space where we manifest anything we want. And because we're not worried, that worry's gone, fear's gone, confusion's gone, pressure, frustration's gone. It's an absolute pristine slate. And see, this is where so many people did not hit the mark. They've been manifesting from the physical form, from the body and not the God. And that's why so many repeatedly, over and over again, miss the mark. They don't manifest it. But on the other hand, subconsciously, walking around doing things, whatever you focus on, it's inevitability that it is going to manifest. It's like we're universes and we don't know it. That's something. That's amazing, isn't it? We believe and been taught that we're small, powerless. What am I going to do? Just live. You ever done this with yourself or anybody else? Say it. How can I do anything? I'm just little old me. Okay. Pretty good tricks been played on us for a long time to make us feel distant, powerless, weak, confused, ignorant, guilty. All of those things. And those are all generated by the ego mind. And see, eventually, we will come to a full conclusion that we are the God in the body and we are the universe. And we'll expand. And then we will be living universes with others that are particles in it on the same discovery's path that we were on. So everything is finitely part of the whole, the one. Everywhere, every universe, every existence is part of the one, just like we are. And our light that we're made of is so brilliant that there isn't anything that compares to it. Suns, supernovas, doesn't matter. We are the brightest light that ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond and forever. And it's not like the light here that you see. It's not like a flashlight that you see. It's way beyond that. And all of us shimmer. We don't know it, okay, because we're so distracted, but we all shimmer. And where does it come from? It comes from the God within us. And the more you acknowledge it, brighter your light gets. So it's like, say it's like turned down, right? And then as you become more consciously aware, you start to turn it up, and your frequencies start to go up, and you keep turning it up, and you keep getting brighter and brighter, and it affects everybody around you, and it saturates everything around you. And this process, and then you go higher frequency, you turn it up even more, and so it gets brighter and brighter. And the more and more of us that begin to discover and do this, it affects everything and everyone. And it is all about you. The reason it's all about you is because you don't know yourself. You don't know who and what you are. You haven't communed with the God that you are in that body. Now, how are you going to know anybody else? If you hate yourself, you're going to hate others. In the event you love yourself, you will love others. In fact, you get to the point where you'll love everything. And some people say, well, how in the heck can you love everything? Because it's part of you. That's how you can love everything. Because it's all part of you. You're part of it. And to get into the understanding, to practice and to make it an ongoing occurrence, is that when you view something, that's the God that I am. And nothing's separate from us. Okay? And when you slowly but surely move into that, you begin to understand more and more. Everything is part of you. You're part of everything. Even a bug in the rug, you're part of that. It's part of you. And for instance, okay, there's signals and messages that we're given constantly in the physical material world. If you see something in a course of one day, 3 times, it is a message specifically designed for you. All right? Could be anything. Most of us that happens to on a regular basis, but we don't acknowledge it. We just don't think anything of it. Now, when you watch a turtle move, what is it reminding us of? Life isn't about rushing. Really, it eventually gets to the water, doesn't it? It eventually starts swimming. It takes its time to bask in the sun. It never rushes. You ever seen a turtle rush? No. So it's saying, hey, slow down. The whole fun part of this is the journey, not the destination. It's the journey. So you look at a turtle and then you realize, it's showing me to slow down, reminding me. And, you know, you might see a rabbit. Rabbit's fast, right? What's Rabbit telling you? That things are going to accelerate in your life, and they're going to be phenomenal. You're not going to accelerate it. It's the universe. Things are going to happen for you, not to you. Because we desire, deep down inside every one of us, we desire the best of everything for all of us. We really do. Why wouldn't we be? We're in these physical forms on this planet. Why wouldn't we wish and focus on all of us having the best of everything? It's about enjoying life, isn't it? Now, it doesn't mean that we aren't challenged, but it's about enjoying life. The challenge would be that you're a gazillionaire, right, or a multi-billionaire, millionaire, whatever, but you've never been before, and all of a sudden you are, and now the flip side is what? The responsibility of that, which can be a challenge, and you learn. And we have all the time that we'll ever need to discover that. And then some. And when a vibrational frequency emanates from the God that you are, and you say to yourself, I am all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. Because you are. All of us are. And we're in these bodies to enjoy life and enjoy this physical material world. That's what we're here to do. And along the way, we learn. Along the way, we manifest things to keep it interesting. And the joy that we discover is the joy that we are 24/7 throughout eternity, which is the God within us. Bliss, the peace, the contentment. It's all there. It's always been there. I'm going into meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Love is all there is. The great divine artist in the sky couldn't find anything other than love to make you with. In fact, everything in the entire universe was made with this same raw material. The mind will try to make you believe otherwise. Yet stay connected with your heart for the next 24 hours. You will see that your mind was wrapped in duality, caught up in the illusion that there was something other than love here. When you understand this is the law of the universe, that love is behind everything that we do and is the blackboard behind all there is, you will stop judging this world, others, and yourself, and see how amazing this life truly is. Seeing it just makes life so succulent and simple. All there is love. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. And we will return here Sunday, April 30th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the deepest, deepest, deepest of eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what is going on around you.